Welcome back to Extreme Hunters, and we are at episode 3. Alex here, Extreme Hunters, right? Episode 3, and we're going to talk today about scaffold hunting. Now, there are different ways to scaffold hunt. So this is for the young hunters, for the hunters who never probably before scaffold hunt. So I know this will be common knowledge to a lot of hunters. You might be saying, Alex, we know this already, but I still want to go through the process for the people who don't know, right? And even for the ones who think they know and might change what they use. So, scaffold hunting, or sentry hunting as we know it, right, happens in a number of ways. So, how do we sentry hunt? Now, some hunters say, well, here we're gonna, I can't climb no tree, so I have to sit on the ground. I say, okay. So, they are the ground hunters. They are the sit down on the ground hunters, right? Now, that can happen in a couple of ways. So, let me highlight the couple of ways that could happen, right? They are the hunters that sit flat on the ground, no chair, no nothing, right? I know hunters who do that. On occasions, I have myself done that, right? I can remember behind a camp in Catskill, there's a little ridge. I said, I'd clean out that spot on the ridge, I move out all the leaf and whatever so I wouldn't make no noise. And then I would make sure there's no bugs, no centipede, no scorpion, no nothing underneath, no strange bugs, right? And I cleared out a little circle, sat down on a ridge, and I was watching down the ridge. And a lap came at the edge of the ridge, saw him, and I turned there right there. So it does work. Right, but let me talk success rate. You are less likely to be successful. Now, it's not impossible, it's just that you'll be less likely. So sitting on the ground is good. It could work, right? For those who want to climb trees, right? For those who sit on the ground as well, you could probably employ the use of a chair. So I know one or two guys, they have a small little stool that they sit on, and they sit there. It works for them. Right, they are the one or two hunters that sits in those beach chairs. You have those expandable beach chairs. You sit down inside there, right? You're going on top of your lap or your whatever on your pillow on top of your lap, and you wait for the animals to come. So it does work for them as well. So that's the ground hunters. Right, they are the ones who don't even sit at all. They are the ones who stand. They lean up on a tree, lean back on a tree, and they stand. This could work where in the situation you have a big tree behind you. You stand up in the wing of the tree. A wing of a tree is just the spacing between the roots. You can get in between that. There's some huge trees. It is limited to your vision, meaning that when you stand up inside that wing, you can only see a certain field of view. Animal come into that field, you can shoot it. Now keep in mind that sitting on the ground, you have to be fast on your draw. You have to be quick, right? Or you have to be totally still, totally immovable. You have to be against the tree. You don't need to move. Movement will set off the actual hunting. The animal will see you by that movement, right? So you have to be still. You have to be quiet. You can't move, right? So that being said, sentry hunting on the ground does work, right? So that is it for basically ground hunting. Basically, you're less likely to catch an animal. It's not impossible. You're easier to be seen. There are also snakes on the forest floor. The animals that are there on the forest floor, whether you stay during the day or you're hunting to the darker hours, it is a risk, right? Some people choose to take the risk. Some people can't take the risk. Some people, as soon as the place gets dark, they get frightened because they're on the ground, they're exposed to whatever in the darkness. So, right? That is just one thing to consider. So I do, some from time to time, do ground hunting when I reach late to scaffold or something. I can't go up in a tree. It does happen. So it's all about timing, availability of spots, availability of trees, all those sort of things, equipment. Sometimes you forget home your equipment. Sometimes you think you have your hammock in your bag or you have your chair in your bag, and it doesn't work out that way. So that being said, the next thing we have to look at is scaffold hunting. So scaffold hunting, really and truly, there used to be the old technique, which was you build the wood scaffold, you build the layers going up like a ladder, and you go up there and you sit down. Normally, you'll have to sit down on 2 pieces of wood. The pieces of wood that you align, you'll have to end up sitting down on top of that, which also means you will have to have basically 4 pieces of wood that are going across parallel. 2 to rest your foot on, and 2 to actually sit on. So it takes more time to build those type of scaffold. It's less comfortable. You end up having to sit down on 2 round pieces of wood right? Yes, you can work with a little board to put on top or a little cushion to put on top. Some people roll up a t-shirt or a jersey or whatever, pants, and rest it on the scaffold, and you sit on that. That used to be the old way. I found that when I have to sit down there for 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes into 8 hours, it doesn't work out. It doesn't be good for your back. You don't get enough rest. You know, you're uncomfortable. You lean up against a tree, and then you have to keep twisting and shifting. For all those hunters who know, you have to keep twisting and shifting because you're getting cut off, but blood flow to your legs, all kind of thing, right? And then you're behind hurting you. So that is, you know. So they said, okay, here we're going. Now we improve on that. Then we see how we can make that type of scaffold comfortable. So the improvement was we're going to use a hammock. So they said, okay, hammock hunting will be more comfortable, right? And there are a number of type of hammocks that you can use. Now, the best thing, my advice to you would be get a specialized custom-made hammock. Go and buy the cloth in Radical Trading or Eufees or wherever sells cloth material, right? And go and buy a cloth to make a hammock. Now, this is one of mine. Nothing too fancy. Is material. One side is dark, one side is light, right? Is material that they use for to sew those sofas and couch and whatever. So use that material, that strong material. Right? You go to a normal seamstress, they'll put a stitch on it for you, right? And you'll get your own custom-made hammock. Now, the reason I'm showing you it, you don't want a big hammock, you want a small hammock, right? Now, I know a lot of people would buy this one. They buy the $150, $100, $200 hammock that's available commercially, right? Is a kind of parachute material. Some of them have netting, right? Now, I'm not saying it can't work. It could work, but it doesn't work as good as your own custom-made thing. This material tends to be noisy. Now, you might be hearing it much now, but in the forest, one place dead silent, this works against you. Now, I have known hunters who use this and they get through because they're quiet and they wait for the animal and whatnot. But it limits your mobility. It's a big, long hammock, right? So the visibility is higher. A smaller hammock works better for you, right? Now, you have to custom build your hammock. How do you custom build your hammock? You get a piece of cloth, you measure the width of your back, and you stretch it accordingly. So, what you need to do, cut your cloth, put it to the back of you, and make sure it's wider than you should. To come into the hammock and sit down inside the hammock and fold up. You understand? I might take a little 5 in the hammock, and then I don't want to fall out. This is my personal one, but I've had smaller hammocks. So let me show you the smaller hammocks that I have had. Now this is one I use currently, right? So you tie some nice rope. You get this rope at general stores in San Fernando, right? So let me show you a couple of hammocks that I have used for hunting, and you could get, develop your own opinion. So here you have the more traditional hammock, the normal, everybody go by the house kind of hammock. Now this is my sleeping hammock. I like to sleep in this in camp. Yeah, comfortable, right? The hammock fitting inside here nice. I could sleep it long enough, right? The length of the hammock is long enough that I could put up my foot inside here, right? And be comfortable, right? Cover over even with a piece of it and all too. So comfortable. This is not hammock that you should use for scaffold. Next hammock I used to use, a smaller hammock. Now this one is a little too small for me. Let me show you how I look at this. Right, so this is me in this hammock, right? Now you can't even see the hammock is there. I'm sitting in the hammock. Now the reason why I like this hammock sometimes is that, yes, it's small, but it keeps the leg room here available so that the hammock itself is not wide. It's small, so you don't have a hammock pinching against your leg, right? No, it can't work for me. But now, I'll give it to him. So when he sits in it, when I'm sitting in it, so when he sits in it, he comfortable. This is the perfect size for him. Understand? His arms fit inside the hammock, so he can't fall out, right? And he comfortable. How you shoot? How you gonna shoot the animal? Yeah, exactly. We have fadans on hammock, which could tie on the same tree together, right? So we could be comfortable. Now I could be right next to him during the season hunting. He might make one hunting out too. He doesn't know. But my hammock, if you notice, my hammock fits in perfectly to the back of me. You're hunting this season?
Yes.
Alright, definitely. So we'll be hunting this season together. I want to show you something that I developed. Right? I don't know if this is a nut somebody does use. This is what I just use. So this is the nut that connects the two hammocks that we have right now hang here, right next to each other. Right? Mine and my son hammock. Right? Now this is a quick release knot. Let me show you how it works. Right, when I'm ready to take down these hammocks, I just tug on this line here, and I could remove this one. Right, same thing with mine. Just tug on the line, and we're outside. So I want to show you all this knot that I developed to hang my hammock. Right, you don't have to use it. This is just my personal way of tying my hammock up. So sometimes you reach a tree, you get around the tree, you have to be able to tie a knot with one hand, right? That's it. Quick as that. Right, so strong, can move, right, and can easily be disconnected with one pull. See, and you're out. So let me go through the knot very slowly. You're folding over, you create a bite. So you can grab onto the tag line, pull it through. When you pull it through now, you want to create another bite here to get this line into this space here. So when you actually get into that space, you pull it through there, and you cinch everything down, and there you have it. Your knot is secure. Right, you could always pull out some more of this line here to make sure that you feel more safe. You can't come loose. Right, and then you hit them a quick tug, and everything's set and tied. And from this now, nothing can move, nothing can run slack. And when you're ready, I'm sure how strong it is. Right, and when you're ready to go, you hold gently, and you pull it out. Right, and you're outside. That's it. Right, and then the last option, the tree stand that has a padded seat to sit down on. Right, and when you're up on the tree, you have the option of sitting down on this and attaching yourself to the tree. So those are the options for scaffold hunting. Above ground, above the ground surface. Those are the options. Now, keeping in mind that the tree stand is more expensive, the hammock is cheaper, and the old traditional way is even cheaper, right? But comfortability, right, stealth, and the ability to hide up yourself are the factors that I'm considering. So something for you to consider as well. Please share your comments, your views, right, on the YouTube or the Facebook page that you are viewing on, and let me know what you think about it, right? Stay tuned. Right after this, you will see one of the feed-ins that are available in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And keep note of those feed-ins, try and save them, screenshot them, right, and keep them on your phone. We will also be telling you what feed-ins are available and what to look out for. So you don't know, extreme dope play. Have a great day.